Alright, guys, I told you I'd be back with another video on Lions prospects here. Christian Mahogany. I told you we'd get to him. We took some time off. I took some time off. Colton and I still taking some vacation. It is almost July. We'll be picking the podcast back up here again in the coming weeks. But until we get there, I wanted to wrap up the Lions draft pick looks. Christian Mahogany is on the list today. And this was one of my favorite draft picks, not just of what the Lions did, but across the league. I mean, this was to get him in the sixth round. Let's forget fit, forget everything else. To get him in the sixth round, that alone was outstanding value on itself. We had him, Dane Brugler here at the Athletic had him as the top 100 player. He was number 99 overall, third to four, in that 3 to 4 round fringe, right on the end, bottom of the third. I actually was higher than him on Dane, or higher on him than Dane was. And I don't know how much I would say, but I think like if I had to do my top 100 again, he would have been maybe in the mid 80s, somewhere in there, not much higher, right? But a little bit. So that's where we both kind of thought of him in that third round range. Lions get him in the sixth round, and to me, it's a steal. Not only is it a steal because of the value where he should have gone, but also if you're thinking about what Detroit is, what they aren't, and what they're going to ask of this guy, it's just one of the best fits in the draft. And if you add value in, it makes it one of the best picks. Here we go. Christian Mahogany coming across here. Boom. I mean, what we just say? What do the Lions do? What are they? What are they not? They are a physical, downhill, in your face, let's go. That's power football. This play doesn't work, but like that's not his fault. That was pretty much a theme at Boston College. If you go back and you watch a lot of Christian Mahogany tape, wasn't his fault. There are times that he has some sloppiness to his game and he can, work on some things. But for a guy that's this big, 6'3", 315, I think he's probably a little bit bigger now. He probably plays around 320. He carries his power really, really well. And when he comes out and delivers, man, it is wow. Like, forget it. And then watch this. This is my other favorite. Just standing right over top of him and just letting him know. You know what I mean? This is a nasty dude who plays football the way that Detroit plays football. Hits, doesn't is not afraid to do any of that. Was born in Jersey, went to Paramus, played with Rashawn Gary, actually played with Devin Willock, the kid that from Georgia who passed away tragically there as well. He is a tough dude, Jersey kid all the way. Played basketball as well, and it's just all power about him, as you can see right in the middle here. Uh, high, he's the leverage is not, and this is an issue with him. He'll stand up and he'll just wrestle with guys and fight and do all that sort of stuff and turn it into a street fight. It's not going to work as much in the league, but it works here. Works there, right? Like this is the type of guy you're getting. Just a nastiness to him that you don't see in 6th round picks. The nastiness from a guy like Mahogany comes from the fact that he's super athletic, super powerful, and knows it. He's not a dick. He's not one of these guys who's coming in late and cheap shotting people. He's extremely confident, and I think that that's going to suit him really well. Here we go again, and look at this. This is not clean, but like just completely erases a guy. No problem at all moving out in space. There's a lot of screen tape from him where he can get out and release and run. Man, I don't know how long he's going to be on the bench. Quite honestly, with you guys, like we'll see how he looks when camp comes around. But it's not going to surprise me in the slightest if he's one of these guys that in the first week of pads is, oh wow, we're really seeing Mahogany. We're feeling him. He's making a name for himself, or he's doing whatever. I don't know if you have to start him because you signed Zeitler, but like you can use him. And I think that based on history and injuries and everything else that happens with offensive lines in the league, I think you're going to see this guy in the first month of the season. Unless he gets hurt himself. But I mean, he's really talented in terms of the physicality. It's right there. Here we go again. Watch the punch. Boom. Just forget it. Just I mean, it's a fist fight with him a lot of times, and there are issues with that. He's a narrow player, as you can see how he stands. Right, he's not wide. Look at the feet here, feet here, feet here. He's narrow. Right, he'll stand up a lot. He lunges and reaches a lot and gets himself sort of in awkward, sort of situations, which can lead to grabbing and can lead to, some of that sort of stuff, which you don't want to see. Um, so he's going to have to clean up that, but like the instinct and everything else is awesome. I mean, it's exactly what you want from a player like this, from a position like this, and an offense like this. He does everything. He can get out and run. He can block zone. He can block gap. He was a 3-year starter. Did have a knee injury earlier in college, and frankly, that's what I thought derailed his whatever. I'm still a little surprised he was a 6th round pick, but I mean, when he was a sophomore uh, in 2021, before the injury, I want to say it was 2021, he was really, really, really good. Like, I mean, and it was one of those things where you just thought matter of time, and then he got hurt. He got right. He got hurt in the sophomore season, so he got hurt at the end of the year. Before he got hurt, man, he was one of those guys that on that sophomore list, or I guess he was a redshirt sophomore. It was even at that point where I remember thinking, like, is this guy going to be a guy that has enough to maybe leave early as a guard or something like this? And then he tears his ACL, and he's got to start back over. But in terms of movers that carry their power and finish with it, like he plays through the ground, not on the ground, through the ground, as the old saying goes. Put people through the ground and let them know you're there. Don't let anybody stay comfortable. Even if you're losing a rep, turn it into a fight. Even if you're losing a rep, turn it into a fight. That's where the dirtbag thing comes in. And I think that's where they were like, he's got some dirtbag to him. And I mean, that's what that is to me. There's a misconception with that to me with offensive linemen, and that it means that they're cheap shotters or they hit late or whatever. That's not what they were meaning by that. I think what they mean by that is it's dirty work stuff. It's a guy that's willing to get his hands dirty, dirtbag. I'm going to be in the trenches and be here all day. Even if you're beating me, I'm going to fight you. And it's going to be one of those things that you know what I'm talking about. When you fight a dirtbag, right? If you fight a trained fighter, let's say, there's a lot of people watching this who've probably been in fights, I would imagine, right? If you fight a trained fighter, there's going to be a lot of things that you've got to get through, right? Technique, all that stuff, right? You got to worry about everything else. If you fight a dirtbag, you got to worry about, can I kill him? Because otherwise, I don't know if I can win. That's the kind of player Mahogany is, and I think that's the kind of guy they're getting. And again, in terms of value, I think this is really, really good. This is not a project pick to me. He and Wingo are not projects. These are guys who I think you're going to see playing sooner than later. And these are the type of guys that when at the end of the year, when everybody looks back and says who had a good draft, these are the picks right here that always end up separating people like Brad Holmes and the Lions. You cash in the 6th round and find guys that can start and contribute for you. I'm telling you right now, unless there's injuries or something else with Christian Mahogany, I would be very surprised if this guy's not starting on the offensive line in Detroit within 2 years. Period.